Hi, I'm Professor Stephanie. Let's take a look at the supplies you're going to need for the workshop coming up. You're going to want to work with the Copic sketch markers, and here's the rainbow of colors that we'll be using. This is actually for the Black Eyed Susan workshop, and so you'll want to be sure to have those before we get started. I also am asking you to have some drawing supplies. Fine line marker. This is those two are actually by Sharpie. They're a fine and a medium. You can also get these from other manufacturers. You'll be looking for an 0.3 and an 0.5, and I like to work with black. Also a 2B pencil, white eraser to add to your supply collection. You'll see that for each class, I do have a class list, and it's got all the supplies, what I suggest you get, both what I use and some other manufacturers, and the notes on how we use them. So check that out for your list. We're going to be working with this type of paper. It's a smooth paper. It's called hot press, very white. It actually comes 9 inches by 12. We're going to cut it down to 8.5 by 11 because it fits in a printer. So I have a printer at the house, and I cut it down to 8.5 by 11, and I am able to put these black line drawings right onto the paper, and that's what we'll be working with. If you're unable to get this, you can also work with cardstock, a white cardstock. So let me show you how I set these up. This is actually a finished practice. This is the first activity you'll do in the one of the workshops. And you can see it starts out just as black and white, and then you're going to practice adding the marker. This is 8.5 by 11, and this is a 9 by 12 piece of cardboard. It's actually the back of one of these pads. As I go through a pad, I keep the back, and I use another tool that I like very much that's on your list. It's a plastic 12-inch T, and I run this on the side of the straight edge, and it helps me get those straight lines. It helps me put the paper on straight. I've put the paper down with a low tack, they're called drafting dots. They come from the drafting world, and they're little dots you can put on there, and they come off easily and they don't tear your paper. So I get myself set up this way, especially with markers. Markers can sometimes go through a paper. You don't want it to stain whatever you're working on, so be sure you have something that, a piece of cardboard or something that you're working on, just sort of FYI there. Another aspect, those of you that will be using the pad, you'll need some supplies to cut the paper with, and I've got a couple of things that are pretty important. I've got an X-Acto knife and some extra blades. This is a metal corkback ruler. This is 15 inches. You can work with a smaller one, and you can work with cardboard to cut on, but this is called a cutting mat. It's a self-healing mat that I like to work with, and again, you're not cutting the table. It sort of is made for what we're working with. So these are supplies that you'll need to get started. I look forward to working with you, and get these together and we'll get started. Thanks.